I think we're good. Right? Stops it? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
You want to go under,
I'm not gonna do it on you, Johnny Vaca.
Johnny Vodka.
Johnny Vaca.
oh,
Ray, what's your record right now?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I can try.
So,
you want to go under,
are you, do it on you, Johnny.
Definitely
Line?
Definitely.
You're definitely up.
Definitely
Johnny Vaca.
Last week sucked though. But, 2 out of 3 left 2 weeks in a row. That's
You'll have those.
What do I hear in my ear?
I hear something too. You
I
hear
heard
it?
you cough. But you weren't coughing.
Are you muted or no?
well,
No,
I heard
that
some.
mic's not muted. Mute that mic. That's right. So,
You want to go under,
are you, do it on you, Johnny. Line? You're definitely up.
I hear something too. You hear it?
No, that mic's not muted.
I hear something too.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome, or visit us online at nyvwofrome.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar, brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
Yo, what's good out there, man? I'm back. Who knew, man? And so once again, welcome to 3 and Out, brought to you by My Garage Bar and, of course, Disruption Network. Good to be back. You guys miss me? Moderately.
I wasn't here either.
Oh, that's true. I'm looking at Moss over there, asking her if she missed me, and you know what? She wasn't here either. So, anyways, I'm Rich Masucci, and good to be back. I'm finally over my whatever it was I had, like the swine flu or like SARS or
I think it was Ebola.
Spanish flu. I don't know what I had, man, but it knocked me right out for like 2 weeks. I was down for the count. Even the last show I was in here, man, I had like 101 temperature. I didn't tell anybody. I was like, oh my God. So if I seemed a little like not so focused that night, guess what?
That would do
Why?
it, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and introduce you guys because you're the stars of this show. Big stars like you.
Aw.
Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah. Jamie Hostanet, how you been?
Doing all right, man.
Yeah,
Doing
man.
okay, as always.
Listen, and I have to thank you for filling in
Yeah.
that one time, but also you brought in Ray Party.
Yes, I
And
did.
That was very good of you, man. You guys, the three of you guys, Ray, and you knocked
Ray.
it out of the park.
Yep.
Ray.
Ray, and you. You
Yeah.
guys knocked it out of the park. I was sitting there. I was rooting for you. It was phenomenal. Good stuff.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're a natural.
Thank
So,
Great.
well, you really threw many a curveball at me. First off, I had to learn all the computers back there and all the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
That was problem number one. And then you gave me 2 guests with the same friggin' name. so I had to go, Ray, Nation.
Yeah.
It's all about the last name.
You got to call him by the last
Yeah,
name.
seriously, it was a pain in my ass. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for filling in that
No
night.
problem. It was a
And,
blast, actually.
And to Ray Party out there, thank you so much for jumping on. Please, man. I'm going to copy the words of Mr. Z over here, and that is you got an open door policy. Anytime you want to come in, we would love to have you back. So good stuff. Erica Moss,
Hey.
you're coming back too. You were sick. I know that.
And excuse my black eye looking thing over here because I still have this this allergy thing going on where my eye just keeps watering. So just ignore this side of my face.
Okay. This is black eye.
And hopefully I don't have a coughing attack because I'm still coughing too. So
Okay. Well, the good news is you're on that side of the table.
I am.
tonight,
Yeah.
So
I am.
Infect them.
yeah.
Ray Nation.
What's up?
What's happening, man?
Not bad.
And
No complaint.
I got to tell you, again, going on that, you shined on that last show, man.
Well, thank you.
I thought you did spectacular. So
appreciate it.
I actually started doubting myself, and I said, "Damn, these guys are doing so good." They
Yeah, we don't really need to be
back.
here. You and I can just take several nights off.
They don't need me no more. But yeah, man, big week in football. No Steelers game this week. I was a little bit depressed by that.
Yeah, how boring are bye weeks? They're terrible, aren't they?
suck.
Oh.
Well,
suck.
at least they can't lose, right?
That's
Yes.
true. That's true.
So
Positives.
positive.
That's
all
the
about
only
the
positive
positives.
for the Steelers, that's for sure. But this week, we got a full lineup, and we're going to be talking tonight about the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Lions.
Lions
Yeah.
tonight. But before we do that, we got to talk about something else. I got to tip my cap a little bit here to Mr. Matthew Stafford. Moving past Matt Ryan on Sunday to become the fastest quarterback to reach 40,000 yards in his career, this being his 147th game of his career. And you tell me, I mean, when you consider some of the quarterbacks that are in this league, and certainly some of the ones that have passed through, I mean, Drew Brees, I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Brett Favre, Dan Marino. I mean, does it shock you that Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford were at the top of that list?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I was surprised when it came up when we were watching the game the other day, like that he broke the record. Now, I know that Detroit, historically, at least since he's been there, has been more of a pass-happy offense instead of running the ball. I mean, they went a few seasons back, some crazy amount of games. It was like 40-some-odd games or something like that without a 100-yard rusher. It was insane.
Yeah.
So it does go to show that they do throw the ball quite a bit. But Matt Stafford kind of falls by the wayside of quarterbacks that are playing at a high level for that long of a period of time. mostly because of some of the guys you named. You hear the bigger names, the flashier ones, the Aaron Rodgers. You see him in commercials and things like that. And now even Patrick Mahomes is starting to, work his way up to being more of a face of the NFL.
Sure.
Matthew Stafford had just quietly sat in Michigan, and that was it. He just played for the Lions, and has played for the Lions this whole time. So I was very surprised to see that it was as Matt Stafford being the quickest to that total. But it does go to show that he actually has been consistently good for his career.
Yeah, I mean, he's had Megatron. He had him for a little while.
Yeah, that's like cheating.
but
like
still, I
cheating.
mean, you think of some of the other receivers, like certainly Jerry Rice. He was a receiver for both Joe Montana and
Steve Young. Yeah.
Young. Not on the list as far as I know, right? They're not on there, or maybe they were.
Yeah.
I don't know. But at any rate, even Matt Ryan. I mean,
That's a shocking one, too.
That's a shock one. That's a shocker too. So.
It's shocking, but at the same time, it's not, because you got to remember, years ago he had like a 5,000 yard season.
True.
So, yeah, to hear his name, you think Matthew Stafford, you don't automatically assume like elite quarterback, but the fact that he's been able to do that on a team like Detroit over his career, that's pretty impressive. And I think he's like very underrated, and people forget how good of an great as a quarterback he is. He doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, I think, especially being on a team that obviously doesn't succeed like the rest of those teams of the
underachieved. I think is the word.
underachieved. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why it doesn't surprise me he has so many yards. When you play on bad teams, you're always playing from behind, so you're going to throw the
true.
ball more.
That's true.
So, it doesn't shock me at all that, they are always losing. And you remember, they've had 0-16 seasons, 2-14. I mean, he had some bad years, but you get garbage time and you get to throw the ball a lot, especially when you haven't had a really good running back in Detroit since Barry Sanders. Reggie Bush tried, but that wasn't really that great either. So, yeah, not a shock.
But mad respect to the guy. I mean, you got to remember, his wife just had surgery, I believe it was like in April, for a brain tumor. And he is back on the field playing for the team and doing a great job. So mad respect for the guy. There was a whole story on him for the Monday night game a couple weeks ago. And I seriously I gained so much respect for him as a player and as a person.
And I always like that, man. I like the guys that just come out there, they do their job, they let their skill and their ability, that speaks louder than anything.
Do all the talking for it,
Yeah.
Let your arm do the talking at that point.
I don't know, like when we talk about Matthew Stafford, if you're talking maybe Hall of Fame quarterback, you guys think?
No, and you know what the problem with that is? It's kind of what I said, is nobody thinks of him in any way, shape, or
all
form.
about him.
You forget what he's done statistically. And a lot of that, as Ray already alluded to, they've been bad teams for a lot of the years that he's been there, or at best mediocre, unfortunately. So the downfall, and it is a shame, because if he continues on this pace and statistically breaks a ton of records, he might still not be considered a first ballot because there's zero success, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, without the hardware, unfortunately, there's not going to be a Hall of Fame.
Got to have that hardware. That's always a bad thing, I think. Too many.
It is.
Too many guys.
It's unfortunate.
miss out because they don't have the rings.
Yep.
But let's talk about this game that happened between the Lions and Vikings this past weekend, because in a lot of ways, I kind of feel like this is how do I put it? Like when you talk about Detroit, this is kind of what people think of. And this game perfectly encapsulates their entire season, really, where they're good enough, or they're doing good, but they're not good enough.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, they just can't get over the hump. So I mean, let's start with that. What went wrong in this game for the Detroit Lions?
The defense. Plain and simple, that horrible, horrible, horrible defense wasn't able to stop anything from Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota piled up, I believe it was a season high 503 total offensive yards against that defense. They can't stop the run. I mean, obviously they're going against Dalvin Cook, so they were already not going to be able to measure up the way they thought, but they weren't able to keep him in check at all. I think he had like 140 something yards. And unfortunately, that's their downfall, because we just talked about Matthew Stafford. He's able to get the job done, but the defense cannot stop them. And they just, as much as the offense is able to keep up with the other team's offense, the defense doesn't allow them to stay in that game.
Well, that's a sad thing too because they were leading early on in this game.
Yeah,
And
It was
then-
back and forth for quite some time.
Yeah, and then it just kind of
fell apart.
Yeah.
There are two problems there. Moss has already talked about the defense, but we can go to the preseason for this to really set in. And that was the loss of Gerard Davis very early. Their middle linebacker, that is the quarterback of a defensive unit. You lose that, that's hard to recover from. So they were already behind the 8 ball in August from that one. The other part, though, I mean, as you already said, that they were in the game for a good part. And a lot of that, of course, was Matt Stafford. The other part of it is you still had a little bit of fear of the running game, not a ton in Kerryon Johnson. This guy can't stay on the field right now, though. He's either injured, and when he is on the field, he's a fumble problem for a lot of the season, early in the early going at least. That takes away a fear factor. You know, you don't really look at J.D. McKissick in a that strikes fear, I guess you can say.
Right.
So you're depending on Stafford to just be that much more incredible. Again, he had a great day. He had a nice connection all day with Marvin Jones. But sooner or later, you can't just continue to throw punch after punch after punch and expect to withstand that without getting knocked out eventually, you know, and that's kind of what happened to them. They couldn't withstand the entire time if their defense not going to get a stop in any way, shape, or form, and especially without a running game. You can't milk the clock in any way, shape, or form, and you become one dimensional. You lose that dynamic portion of your offense, and the guy got out of a cannon last year in Kerryon Johnson and really had some nice games. This year just not happening though so far.
He's on IR now. They just put him on IR.
Exactly. Yeah.
They said,
that was
yeah,
today,
they
right?
said at least 8 weeks.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, a lot of injuries piling up on that side over there, and but your boy had a good day, right?
Who's my boy?
Mr. Fantasy Football.
Oh, the guy I dropped and then didn't pick up before this game. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
There's a sad story for Mark right there.
My luck.
Let me ask you guys one question here. For as long as I can remember, the Detroit Lions, I mean, they've always been like third or maybe even fourth best in this division. And it always seems like the cream of the crop is always Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers always number one. And then usually I'd say Minnesota Vikings number two. And then it can go either way with Chicago and Detroit. They just got, I think this is year number 2 for Matt Patricia as the new head coach in Detroit. Obviously, he spent a number of years in New England under Bill Belichick. I mean, this is a competent guy. He obviously he knows what he's doing, but what does he need to do with this team to make sure that he doesn't fall into that same trap? And by trap, I mean what every other head coach that has gone to Detroit does. I mean, you know, they come in, they say they're going to make some changes. The team, it seems like they're going to go right for a little while, then they start losing, and bye-bye. Within like 2 years, they're down the road, and we're on to a new head coach. Mm-hmm. What does Matt Patricia need to do to make sure he doesn't fall into that same trap?
Well, they got to pray that the ownership has some patience finally. They've never had that in the past. There's something to be said about continuity in the NFL, and I think, and this is almost league-wide, too many teams give up a little quick on their head coaches. And in this case, you're looking at, Matt Patricia, a second-year coach, who's, we'll say, on the hot seat. That's kind of unfair. As I said, he's lost his starting middle linebacker in the preseason. There's not a ton of talent really all the way around the board. They have some pieces, some young pieces. They've drafted well over the last few years, getting some linemen to protect Matt Stafford. Mm-hmm. But you have to look at it from an ownership standpoint and say he's kind of dealt a short straw, dealt a poor hand. And he's not doing poorly with it because they have been in a majority of the game so far. They fought with Green Bay on a Monday night. That's prime time. Yeah, that's a tough task in its own right. So I would hope for their sake they give him at least another year to see if it's, maybe get another piece or two in there that would help out the offensive or defensive side of the ball and see if they can actually improve, take the next step a little bit more. But try to keep the pieces in place. Give them a shot instead of trying to start all over again with yet another new coordinator, another new offense, another new coach, whole new playbook to learn everything for Stafford. Again, you almost hit the reset button. So continuity. That's what he's got to pray is avoided there.
Ray, did you?
So I think honestly, I was looking at their schedule and I was looking. They're 2-3-1 right now. Mm-hmm. So they're probably not going to win the division. But I think that looking at the schedule, they have some very winnable games. going forward. So I think if he can just pull off, maybe I 7-8-1, and then they give him enough to show. All right, well, let's not get rid of the guy. Like they're making progress, and it's I don't want to count them out because there are 10 more games and anything can happen. But it's very likely they're not going to make the playoffs this year. So with that being said, they have to be looking towards the future. And I think if they give him some more time, I think he needs to just show that he has a plan. Because right now I think Detroit's kind of in limbo. Matt Stafford, they're paying him a lot of money, and he's always gotten a lot of money. And they dump so much money into the quarterback position, but they need just a few more pieces. Draft a nice receiver, maybe a running back. I don't think what's his name,
J.D. McKissick.
McKissick?
Yeah.
He's okay, but I think they need something a little more like bullish.
Yeah.
Would be the word.
Yeah.
Striking that fear. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to lose a job this year. I think he's got one more. But if he has another bad year next year, I think he's going to go, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I am going to give a shout out to our homeboy Matt Patricia, because we got to do that right here on this upstate New York show, because he's right here from Sherrill, New York, which is just a few minutes down the road from us here in Utica. So shout out to Matt Patricia and my good friend Allison Patricia, which is his cousin that I work with. So there you go for that. And I agree with these guys. You got to give the guy time. You got to remember, he has 3 losses. Those losses came to Kansas City, Green Bay, which was a questionable loss. We won't talk about that. In Minnesota, which we talked about, they hung with them through almost the whole game until the end of the fourth quarter. So they are a good team, and they've shown improvement from last year, which was his first year coaching. So he's showing improvement. Just keep that communication going. Get those good, maybe like Ray said, get a good receiver, get get that defense up and running and get them playing better. And I really do think that they can finish the year out with a decent record.
Yeah.
They got a lot of potential, so don't give up. Don't give up hope on the Detroit Lions.
Where do you see them right now in that division? Are they?
Oh, well, sorry, Chicken, but they are way better than Chicago Bears, so they're way ahead of them.
sorry, chicken.
Sorry,
man.
Chicken.
Sorry, D-line. they're all Chicago Bears fans.
yeah.
No, I shouldn't say that. I think Sill's a Jets fan too, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I know Caleb. Caleb's a Jets fan, right? I think it's Caleb's a Jets
Caleb
fan.
is a Jets
Caleb's
fan.
Caleb's a Jets fan.
Sorry for that.
One of them was.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But so you think they're better than the Bears? The Bears are the worst.
Oh, they're definitely better than Bears. That's not even a question.
Okay.
I think they sit really close with Minnesota. I think it's gonna be close.
All right.
It's gonna be close for that second.
I think it goes Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, and then the Bears.
Jamie, the same thing.
Pretty much, but I think the Bears and Detroit are a little closer just because the Bears defense is so damn impressive. But it's hard to win games when you can only score like 8 points. Or they're not. There's no offense in Chicago, so
No, there's not.
it's terrible, really.
I love that they were saying last night, like, Trubisky. There might be you were worried about a kicker the entire offseason.
Yeah.
You might be wanting to look at your quarterback.
Look at the man under center there.
It's funny because when you look at that division, based on the skill of the quarterback is kind of how the division ranks, because Aaron Rodgers is definitely at the top.
Yep.
And Kirk Cousins is right there. He's had back-to-back 3 and 4 touchdown weeks, and his team is 5-2. I remember somebody yelling about the Vikings being bad. I'm like, they lost 2 games. Like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're fine. They're 5-2. Like, what do you want from them?
Yeah.
But as the quarterback play goes down, and then you get down to Matt Stafford, who I think definitely is better than Mitch Trubisky,
Yeah.
which would put his team above the Bears.
Sure.
But, the Bears, obviously, we all know it's all about the defense there. And I heard a rumor that they were thinking about possibly trying to get Cam Newton in Chicago.
What?
Like a possibility of signing
Cam
him.
Newton signing,
that
like,
would
everywhere.
be ridiculous. First off, it would help the team a lot because I think Mitch Trubisky's not the answer.
Yeah.
But Cam Newton's getting, I think his contract was like 4 years, $125 million or something.
Crazy.
They can't afford that with the money they're paying Khalil Mack, so that's just stupid. But if they got him, that would definitely shake that division up a little bit.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it definitely would. So let's look at this coming week, because that's what we do around here. New York Giants. So I guess the Lions are getting a little bit of a beach ball this week. Sorry, I know there's some Giants fans going to get pissed off when me saying that, but your team just lost to the Cardinals for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
So what do you expect to see in this game, Detroit and the Giants, and what matchups are you going to keep your eyes on?
The first matchup you got to look at is everybody was clamoring about Daniel Jones when he came out and he had that wonderful game. He's definitely taken a step back since then. He's actually come back to reality a little bit more, which is wonderful because I don't have to hear about it anymore. But secondly, I mean, in this game against Arizona, the Giants put themselves in a nasty hole. 17-0 at one point. Yes, there was a block punt in there. But additionally, I looked up at one point, and Daniel Jones was something like 1 for 4 for -8 yards.
Ooh.
So how the hell did you go backwards?
I don't know.
I mean, at least that far. So it wasn't pretty, and really a lot of it was the second half. Definitely the Giants played a little bit better. So the matchup, I'm talking at length about Jones for that reason, is Daniel Jones against any of the secondary for the Detroit Lions. As we just alluded to before we started recording, the Lions just traded their safety in Diggs to Seattle. So you just lost another piece. Maybe they got some youth back there that can actually step up and make a few more plays, maybe knock out the pass defense a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But this is a game right there. If they play as poor, if the Lions defense plays as poorly as they did against Minnesota, Jones can kind of rebound. So that's the matchup that I'm personally looking for on that one.
Obviously, Detroit they must know that maybe they feel like the younger guy can step up and do something, and what Diggs is doing obviously isn't enough for the defense. So I'm interested to see Saquon Barkley. If they can keep him in check, then I think they might succeed. Also, I don't think the Giants defense is very good, so I think that Stafford's going to be able to tear him apart.
Yeah, I think it's all about Stafford. I think, as it's kind of cliche, but you're only going to go as far as your quarterback. So as long as he has a good game, they should win this. Mm-hmm. If he gets outplayed by Daniel Jones, then we just look like idiots talking about it the last half hour. Because
then there's no.
Then what are we talking about? But no, honestly, Matthew Stafford, as long as he does what he can do, they'll be fine because it's the Giants.
It is the Giants.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
There you go.
It's very true. It is the Giants.
Well, so I got to clue you in on something here. I mentioned earlier that Eric has been sick all week, so we never had a chance to get you in here to record your Moss's Mindbender this week.
Nope.
So we're going to give it a live shot.
Giving it a live shot.
All right, but we're still going to play the intro for you.
Oh, I still have an intro?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see how this all works out.
Okay.
We're going to try this. All right. So hold on here. Here we go.
All right, well, here we go with this week's Moss's Mindbender Trivia Question of the Week. We have a big game on Thursday night, real big one, with the Washington Redskins going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Ooh. So my question for you is, who was the very first Minnesota Vikings player that was elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Again, who was the very first Minnesota Vikings player to be elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? We're going to find out that answer right after the break. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Very nice.
Thanks.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome or visit us online at nivwofrome.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
Welcome back to the second down of 3 and Out, brought to you by Disruption Network and MyGarageBar.com. So before the break, I hit you with my Moss's Mindbender. That question was, who was the very first Minnesota Vikings player to be elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? The answer is, who got it? Fran Tarkenton. He was elected in the Hall of Fame in 1986. He played with the Vikings from 61 to 66, and then again from 72 to 78, after a few years with the Giants. There you have it, folks. This week's Moss's Mindbender.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm so out of breath because I just ran in like there was no tomorrow. Woo!
You went racing in to get a beer.
I did.
And we're like, you've got like 30 seconds left. You got 15.
Oh, my God.
And then at 5, you came trucking in here.
I was out of breath. Woo.
You're like, this is Moss's.
Oh, that was great.
Maybe I should do it recorded from now on. No more live.
That was great. That was great.
I did it, though.
You did. You did it.
I did make it.
Cry.
That was
I'm
fantastic.
crying.
So,
Seriously crying.
you know, guys, next week we're going to do our little Halloween special, if you will. You know about the Halloween special?
No, but Ray Party got it. I just want to say that.
Ray Party,
Good
listening.
job.
Oh,
Good
did
job,
he?
buddy.
How are you seeing? I'm not even seeing the thing.
Oh, because it's on a different one.
Oh, see,
She gets all the good
I
stuff.
get all the good stuff.
You. See? All right. But anyways, the Halloween show.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we're going to do that, and we're giving out our annual Halloween awards, and there's a bunch of them. They're all so generic; it's ridiculous. But we do like the the Frankenstein for like the monster defense that's scary, and what other ones do we do? I can't remember. Haunted
It's
house.
been a while. It's been a while. So
Yeah.
yeah, and the haunted house, which is the toughest place to play. or
Yeah, the
something.
stadium you don't want to go into.
Yeah.
yeah. There's a whole bunch.
I can't wait for a Halloween show. Should we dress up?
That's ambitious.
I love everybody.
Absolutely not. No.
That's super ambitious for you guys.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know about dressing up. We'll keep it with what we're wearing.
Okay. All right.
Halloween show. So I mentioned it in the little bump we did earlier on that next we're going to be talking about America's team, Dallas Cowboys. And this Sunday night, the big game, the big game, the matchup of the week between them and the Eagles. Yeah, I don't know, man. That was kind of basically a blowout. 37-10.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I honestly thought the Eagles were a little bit better of a team than that. Or maybe I'm just not giving the Cowboys enough credit. I don't know. Either way, the Cowboys star players, they were out in full force, shining bright that game. So let's talk about this. Who impressed you the most in this game and with their spectacular play? Because there was a number of them. So, Moss, you want to go first?
Sure.
Now that you've caught your breath.
Kind of. I gotta give a shout out to DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah, I thought he had probably one of his best games, especially definitely of the year, but probably almost for his career. I mean, he's always been a player that puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but he never really gets all those sacks. So this week he was able to do that. He only had 2.5 sacks going into this game, so it was nice to see him put that pressure on. Carson Wentz got his ass on the ground a couple times. So
Yeah.
it was nice to see that. I think that he definitely stepped it up for that defense and showed why he is what he is.
I'm a little nervous for Carson Wentz after that game, to be honest with you. He is who we thought he was.
Yeah.
I know what they had like 2 takeaways in like the first 6 minutes of the game.
It wasn't promising right off the bat.
Jamie, who shined in that game for you?
First off, let's preface this by saying let's avoid the obvious. No Zeke Elliott's, no Amari Cooper, even to an extent, regardless of what you think about him. No Dak Prescott. So we're gonna go with Michael Gallup on that one. He's had a solid season and a little bit quiet because he's kind of in the shadow now, all right, of Amari Cooper. But he's kind of emerging as a solid weapon for Prescott and the Dallas offense in general. This past week, he was over 100 yards, had a touchdown, which is great in its own right. But on top of that, he had 27 catches already this year, 415 yards, I believe. So, I mean, he's definitely a burner if you want to see that, just based on the yard per catch type of thing. Kind of showed off his skill a little bit this week, though. So I was very impressed with that. Additionally, it seems that he's starting to finally hit a stride in Dallas. I know he's young. I mean, for all intents and purposes, only his second year in the league, really. So it's nice to see a second-year receiver kind of take that step and be able to turn into a valuable weapon. So I was very impressed with how he played.
Sure.
Very, very much so.
Ray, who shined for you?
I'm gonna go with the kicker, Brett Maher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nobody says kickers don't get enough credit. I bash kickers all the time. But he went 7 for 7. He had 3 for 3 field goals and 4 for 4 on extra points, which normally nobody really cares about extra points. But apparently now people actually miss those, so now you got to kind of talk about him every once in a while.
Yeah.
But honestly, his field goal kicking, he hit one for 63 yards.
Yeah,
which was
sick.
I remember watching it, and I was like, there's no way in hell this goes in. This is going to be 5 yards short, and they're going to run it back like in the Alabama game in college a couple years ago. I was like, oh, he hit it. He could have hit it from 68, honestly, because it cleared it. It was good. So shout out to Brett Maher for his kick.
Yeah, you're right, too. A lot of kickers missing those extra
Dude,
points.
a lot of them.
They pushed it back like...
It's a 22-yard field goal, essentially, and they're just missing them. I don't
Did you know that he broke the record for the most 60-plus yarders?
I did not know that.
Pretty impressive.
But,
Damn. All right.
But Matt Prater on Denver still had the longest field goal.
That is true. But the guy just hit like a 62-yarder last week.
But yeah, he's got to listen. I think that Greg Zuerlein's still the best kicker in the NFL right now, but he's showing that he's got promise. So
I don't know. Greg the leg. He's missing a few, too.
I know, but still Greg the leg. I still like Greg the leg.
So let me ask this. Obviously, Dallas started 3-0 this season, and then they went and dropped 3. And a lot of people started losing faith in them. Do you think this was the game that maybe answered some of those concerns? Is this the one that's getting them back on track?
Nope.
No.
This is just
Wow.
This is just the NFC East. This is what happens
gonna
every
agree
year.
with Ray today. I can't
this is the
believe that.
NFC East. Like every year they go through this, right? Like one team starts to try and make some headway, gets better, and then all of a sudden by week 10, they're all with the same exact record, fighting to see who's going to get the wild card and who's going to win the division. No, this was just them. They beat an Eagles team that has underperformed the whole season. So, whatever.
The thing about it is that the only teams that they're able to beat are teams in their division and Miami. So, not going to be enough.
Well, see, I was going to ask you this. I might as well go right into it.
Yeah.
When we look at this division, I mean, the NFC East, the storied NFC East that everybody's always talking about is so difficult. It's one of the toughest divisions to get out of. I mean, kind of like, wow, how the mighty have fallen here. You look at this this division, and I mean, I don't know what that is. Just in time for our
Halloween show. The ghost in here.
But yeah, I mean, you look at the records in here, and I mean, you've got the Cowboys leading it with 4-3. The Eagles are behind them with 3-4, and then I mean the rest of the division is kind of abysmal. I mean, you got the Redskins, you got the Jets, and the Giants rather. The Giants are in third place with 2 wins, 5 losses, and in the lowly Redskins. Sorry guys, of course they're sitting at the bottom of the pile, 1-6. That's I don't know. I mean, is Dallas? They're going to run away with this division, right?
They should.
You would think so, yeah.
They really should. I think I said it when we did the crossover with the D-line. It might, or either that, it might have been the first show that we did this season on 3 and Out.
Yeah.
That the team in the NFL with quite possibly the easiest path to the playoffs is Dallas, and a lot of it is the fact that they play in the NFC East. And we knew the Giants were going to be rough. They are. We knew the Redskins had some issues, and now it's even getting uglier than I think most of us expected at the beginning of the season, even in Washington. Add into the fact that Philadelphia does not look like the team that went to the Super Bowl and won it 2 years ago.
No.
They, I don't know what happened. This is essentially the same team from 18 months ago on top of that, but they're not that same team anymore. So Dallas pretty much the only way that they can't win this division is if they shoot themselves. They stub their toe over and over and over again until they break their foot, basically. But other than that, they should walk away. I mean, it might not even be a great record. Well, 9-7 or even possibly 10-6, in a good way. But I don't see anybody else really putting up too much of a fight outside of that to kind of compete in that division.
No. And talking about the Eagles again, I mean, 2 of those wins, the Redskins and the Jets.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's pretty bad. But let's look at it this way. I mean, assuming Dallas does go to the playoffs, which we all expect them to, how do you guys think they stack up? How do they compare to some of the other marquee teams in the NFC? I mean, obviously you're talking about the Packers,
Seattle, New Orleans.
Yeah, definitely New Orleans. Do you want to say San Fran in there too?
You have to. They're undefeated. You have to mention them, but
I mean,
I'm telling you, I can't wait until they fail, just so I can tell everybody I told you so. Because there's so much hype around the Niners, and I'm not buying it.
Can Dallas make some noise with those teams though?
They can.
Yeah, but
I think that it's still gonna. It's New Orleans all the way. I think because I mean, when you go 5-0 without Drew Brees.
Pretty impressive.
What's going to happen when you bring him back? Like, it's only going to go better from here. Like, you're not going to get worse. So,
yeah.
I don't see Dallas competing with any of those teams. I think Dallas right now, they're on they got this big ego going on. We just killed Philadelphia, and they're just going to go right back to the same thing. They got the ego's going to get them the best of them, and they're going to think they're all high and mighty, and then they're going to fail.
Oh man, you guys are going to make Brian Allen very sad.
Sorry, Brian.
Jamie, what do you think?
Sorry, not sorry, Brian. But no. I'm kind of with Moss. I don't think that they can with most of them. The Packers, I believe, are a better team. Also, the Saints. That's just not fair. I also think that Seattle's a better team just because of the Russell Wilson factor. And going back to what Ray was alluding to earlier, quarterback versus quarterback, Russell Wilson is better than Dak Prescott. That's my belief. Some of the teams I do think they can compete with from a playoff standpoint. I actually think they can compete with San Francisco. Yes, they're playing great so far, but there's a lot of youth there, and that would scare me in a playoff environment to say. Even if San Francisco 14-2, some crazy number, some crazy record, they could really fall on their face just because lack of experience at that point. So I think they can compete with some of those, but the cream of the crop, not at all.
Well, when you think about it, so in the NFC, for playoff purposes, assuming that the teams continue to play how they're playing right now, you've got either the Niners or Seattle are going to win the division.
Yep.
The other one's got to be a wild card, right? So then Dallas is going to win their division. New Orleans should win their division, and Green Bay should win their division.
Yes.
So when you look at it,
you got a sneaky Carolina team.
You're going to have
don't forget about that.
See, so you're going to have a wild card team that may be either the Niners or Seattle, and I don't know who the other one is going to be. But look at those division winners. It's never chalk. It never happens where in the playoffs the team that's supposed to win just wins every game. It's never happened. So there's going to be an upset. And it's just a matter of which wild card team's going to do it, because one of them is going to, especially if the Niners get in as a wild. Because when you think about it, if the Niners and Seattle both continue how they're going, one of them's better than, and they're going to get an easier matchup because they're going in as a wild card when they don't get the home game necessarily, but they're going to be a sneaky game and they're going to end up winning one. So I think Dallas, for Jason Garrett's purposes, he needs to win, right? He's got to get at least to the NFC Championship, I would imagine, to keep his job. But he's probably going to lose his job because he's not getting there.
Well, that's something I was going to ask you too, because obviously we usually go ahead and we break down next week's matchup, and this week can't really do that because they're on the bye.
They're on the bye.
Lucky for them.
Yeah, so I guess that gives us an opportunity to really talk about Jason Garrett. A lot of people during that 0-3 or the 3-loss run there, everybody thought he's on the hot seat. He's a goner. This might have saved his job for a little bit this last win, but maybe not. I don't know.
Do you want to know what the crazy rumor that I heard was?
Oh, God.
Do you know who they're talking about coming in to coach for the Cowboys right now? You ready for it?
Yeah.
Urban Meyer.
My God.
That's a rumor on the street.
That's the word on the streets there.
Rumor on the street.
Well, since he's pretty much banished from college football, I could see that happening.
Go to Dallas. Amount of options.
But it would have
He
more
had his
shocked
way
me.
with FLORIDA.
Yeah.
It would have shocked me more if Urban Meyer went to like Oakland or something. But I get it; they got John Gruden for the long haul.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like that would be the team that would once you get banished from one, I can totally see Oakland picking him up. But
I don't know.
really,
I swear. Look it
That-
up. I swear I saw that.
Urban Meyer.
But I think that's crazy. But I did see that as a rumor. I think Jerry Jones at this point is trying to come up with reasons why to keep Garrett.
Yes.
I think
Honestly-
it's crazy.
Honestly, Garrett is gone if they don't get to the NFC Championship.
You know what? I asked. Well, I'm not going to mention, but I did ask a Dallas Cowboys fan. Do you think if he loses? This is before the game this past week. If he loses, do you think Do you think Garrett loses his job? He said, "No, I love him. He needs to stay."
Was this Brian?
Yeah.
It was Brian, but I wanted to know from a legitimate fan how they feel, and he's like, "No, I love him." I'm thinking, I just don't understand it. What does this guy have to do? He hasn't been good since the day he started.
And that's why he's still there, because we're talking about Jason Garrett getting fired.
Yeah.
He doesn't run this damn team. Jerry Jones
True.
does.
That's very
Everybody
true.
knows.
We all know that. There's a reason that coaches with any type of name that went through there had a short tenure because they couldn't control them.
And that's why I don't think Urban Meyer would fit in.
Yeah,
Because Urban Meyer is not going to.
Too polarizing.
Yeah, there's no way.
He's not going to bow
He's
down
not going to let
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones tell him exactly what to. What the hell with that? Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Garrett is literally the only person, or coach, I should say, in the NFL where I can literally see the owner's hand up his ass. He is a puppet.
That's true.
I mean, he literally is a puppet. So why get rid of your puppet? It's Jerry Jones' fault. The owner's not going to fire himself. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
So I personally don't think Garrett goes anywhere unless they totally explode or implode, I should say. Because if that's the case, then you have no choice than to kind of, pacify your fan base.
Sure.
And that's the only way that I see it happening.
So there you go. Maybe he's not on the hot seat because he's got a hand up his ass working.
You can't sit down. Well,
He can't sit down.
his current chair is a wrist, okay? So he can't do anything.
His chair is a wrist.
Oh my gosh.
Only on 3 and
much
Out,
for
ladies and
me.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Will you
This
get
It's
that
too much
line?
for me.
That's what you call insight.
America's team, everyone.
Yeah, the America's team getting worked through the ass.
Yeah.
One thing I will say though, it was random. So apparently, that Cowboys Eagles game had 22 million viewers. It was like the most watched game in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Which, to me, I'm thinking it had to be mostly Giants fans, right? Just hoping to just talk. I just couldn't imagine where 22 million people are watching this, but
There was
a lot
nothing
of-
else on TV on
Nothing.
Sunday, I guess.
Yeah. It was
Everybody
an
gave
off
up.
week for a lot of
Everybody
favorite
gave
shows.
up on The Walking Dead, so they decided to watch the game.
The other dead.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jamie, you're going to be thrilled this week.
I know, I heard. This
Yes.
is great.
We actually, I say we. That's
No.
it was not.
You mean Todd?
I mean Todd.
Todd Williams, of course.
the guy
Yeah.
that does everything
Yeah.
for us. Todd Williams went through and actually made you a little intro, man.
Yes.
And I watched it,
Sweet.
and I'm super psyched about it. This is like 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
I told you last year I was going to have one
Yeah,
for
you did.
and I
It-
didn't.
it never
I didn't do
happened.
Yeah. So, thank you, Todd.
Yes.
Let's see what we got, man. We're going to go ahead and play this, and
It's exciting.
yeah, it's very exciting.
Ooh.
Here we go. Very first time goes in. Boom.
All right. After that lovely intro, my name is Jamie, and this is this week's IR. So for this week's IR, the weekend recap was actually not a huge injury week, which is great for most NFL players and teams, unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs, who got to witness their star quarterback and face of the NFL in Patrick Mahomes dislocate his patella, which is as awful as that sounds. First off, let's explain a little bit of the mechanism of injury. Now, in order to actually dislocate your patella, first off, that is your kneecap. That is the bone that kind of acts as a lever between the lower part of your femur, your thigh bone, and the upper part of your tibia or your shin. And really, you only have two movements that your knee allows you to do, which is to bend or flex, and extend, which is straighten. That's it. So to dislocate, it has to track either right or left off of that little groove that's at the bottom of the thigh bone. When this happens, the tendons that hold the patella in place and ligaments as well tend to stretch a lot of times, or most of the time, completely tear. You pop the patella back in place, This is usually a surgical outcome where you have to repair whatever ligament tore to cause that patella to dislocate and fall off track. Anytime you're talking about surgery to a ligament, you're talking at least 3 months before you're allowed to do any type of slow rehab type of thing. And I mean slow. Even after that, probably another 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 6 months of rehab and strengthening on whatever joint or area you're talking about. Now let's talk about the medical miracle that is Patrick Mahomes, who is out 3 to 6 weeks. The reason being, he is fortunate enough that none of those ligaments tore. The patella just slid off track. They popped it back in place. But now with the stretching, there's still a little bit of fraying of the fibers there, and you got to let those heal a little bit. So in the case of Mahomes, he got what the Kansas City Chiefs called the best case scenario, and they weren't kidding. They were not sugarcoating this in any way. That is season-ending, season-threatening, career-threatening on top of that, because this is a similar injury that Teddy Bridgewater got when he was still with the Minnesota Vikings, and he missed damn near 18 months to rehab before coming back and making a little bit of a play with the New Orleans Saints now. So for the case of Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be just monitoring, making sure they don't put too much stress on that. He's looking like he'd be coming back, in which they'll brace the leg in order to keep that patella, that kneecap, right on track to where it's supposed to be so he doesn't continuously dislocate from this point on. And barring any type of, any serious or recurrence of this dislocated patella, we'll be back to seeing him sling that rock in about 3 to 6 weeks. So, Pat, we hope you get healthy in time for us to watch you throw a few more touchdowns. And I'm Jamie for 3 and Out and Disruption Network. This has been IR.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome, or visit us online at NyeVWofRome.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar, brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
Who the hell are you? You know.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
You all know exactly who I am.
Talking about house money right now. Well, we gonna come to you and we gonna bring it to you like this.
Say my name.
All right, so the Houston Texans, Detroit Lions, and LA Rams were all major disappointments last week. But it's okay because, you know, you have bad weeks here and there. We're just going to shake that off and come back with a vengeance with this week's House Money. The New Orleans Saints have not missed a beat after losing Drew Brees in Week 2 and have rattled off 5 straight wins with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm. They have a very nice matchup this week on the road versus Arizona, so I like New Orleans -7. Seattle travels to Atlanta with Matty Ice nursing an ankle injury. I really like Seattle in this game. They are, in my opinion, the second best team in the NFC, so take Seattle -3. And last but not least, the Green Bay Packers on the road playing against a Mahomes-less Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. The odds makers have Green Bay at +4.5 right now, which to me sounds crazy because I just can't imagine a team with Matt Moore as quarterback versus a team with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I mean, you got to go with Aaron Rodgers. So definitely take Green Bay on the points plus 4.5. And there you have it, folks. That's my picks for this week's House Money.
There you go. There you go.
Love how I just write everything down over here. I love during your intro. I'm like rocking out over here. I'm getting down.
So good stuff, man. Where are you at on the money so far?
Oh, man. The exact number is close. I want to say it's, I think, because I had 2 bonuses in there. So I think it's like 14 and 9 total. I think this is what my total is. But last week was bad, man. I was going so well. 2 out of 3 every week. I'm happy because that means you're winning money every week. This week, it was terrible. Terrible games for betting.
Everybody has an off.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'll shake it off.
It's all right.
Shake it off and make some money. So, hey, listen, guys, I have to plug one of our sponsors a little bit here, and that's Utica Hemp Co. Yeah, man. Joe Sweet, Chip Sweet, doing great things over there. You can visit them on uticahempco.com or stop at one of their 4 locations in Utica, Herkimer, New Hartford, and Clinton. And of course, they're super knowledgeable about everything CBD related. Talk to them. They can help you out. If you got like pains, like anything, like ailments, whatever, go talk to them. The CBD, everybody's on board with it right now. And as they say, natural, safe alternative from some of the medications that are out there on the market right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think they have their big grand opening on Saturday for their Clinton
store, right?
store,
Yeah,
so.
I was actually just going to say something about it because before I got here, I took a look and there's Joe Sweet on Facebook with the grand opening. That place is friggin' gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's immaculate.
Great
Yeah.
location too. Great location in Clinton.
They're crushing it right now, and just the fact that there's 4 stores open already, and I mean this is a new kind of business venture that they got.
Yeah, it's relatively in its infancy still, and I mean, it's just exploded.
But the CBD is you know that's the rage right now, man. And then so definitely check them out. As we say, Utica Hemp, improve the quality of your life.
There you go.
There you
That
go,
was nice.
huh? What else we got to talk about tonight? The trade deadline, guys. Oh, Tuesday the 29th, 4 p.m. is officially the trade deadline in the NFL. And as you guys have already alluded to, there's a lot of rumors going around, a lot of potentials for people on the move here. So let me ask you guys, what have you heard, and who should we expect to be on the move? Or I guess even we can talk about some of the ones that have already happened.
Some big ones today.
Because they're already starting to fly through. So what do you know, and what do you want to talk about?
Well, you can start, but with I guess the Mohamed Sanu one to the Patriots this morning. I mean, the ghosts were still in Sam Darnold's eyes when they made the trade last night. It's amazing at that point. So, but in all seriousness,
during the game, they were negotiating.
Exactly. The biggest one I heard, and I've heard a few rumors of a few places he's going to land, is Vic Beasley. For those who either know the name or don't know the name, he's an Atlanta Falcon. He's pretty much like a 3-4 linebacker, so more of an edge rusher type of guy. 15 and a half sacks 3 years ago in his second year in the NFL, and it's tapered off since. He had, I believe, 5.5 over the last 2 years. 5.5 and 5.5. I mean, only 1.5 so far this season. So it's kind of fallen out of favor in Atlanta right now. But he's still a very young guy. Signed a pretty big extension, unfortunately, well, at least for his 5th-year deal, which he's currently in right now. But that could be a change of scenery type of thing that would actually spark him back to, I mean, that guy led the league in sacks a few years ago. So I've heard a few places for him. Most of it's just kind of, hearsay. Buffalo was one of them. Ironically, I don't think they would want to get rid of the draft capital it would take to get him. But I've also heard him ending up in places similar to like Detroit, which has no pass rush either. So I think a lot of it's a little bit of hearsay. I don't think a real true one, at least that I've heard, has come alive yet on that one.
Yeah.
I was actually shocked by the Sanu trade only because
Weird.
I don't know the specific details of the contract, but I do know the Patriots are going to be in a little bit of trouble because they're going to have to pay. I mean, Sanu's going to automatically become their highest paid receiver over Edelman, which is crazy. And I don't think he's that good of a receiver, but he'll go to the Patriots and he'll be this, Pro Bowl star receiver for some reason.
25 TDs.
12 wins.
He's
Favorable calls.
They owe him quite a bit of money from his contract, so that's going to be interesting to see. The other big one I know Ray doesn't want to talk about that happened today is Emmanuel Sanders going to the 49ers.
I get
believe
it, though. I get
it was for a 3rd and 5th round pick.
Yeah.
Sanders and a 5th round pick for a 3rd and 4th round pick. So, I don't know how.
I get it. I understand. I mean, Denver is in a rebuild, and Sanders is an aging receiver. doesn't have many years left. So I get it. I'm happy for him. At least he's going to a winning team with a quarterback. I mean, Joe Flacco was clearly not doing him any favors. Did not like to see him go, though, because that team is looking real unfamiliar right now.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Well, Rich
these
and
things
I
happen. It's a
remember-
business.
We remember what it was like for him.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah.
I think that you're going to see a couple guys from Miami go, more guys from Miami
Oh,
go
yeah.
with Kenyon Drake and Devontae Parker. I think you might see both of them gone by next week.
I would like to see Patrick Peterson go to New Orleans now that Eli Apple got hurt, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a good plug and play. Get a
They
Pro
swear
Bowl
they're not going
corner.
to trade him.
Well,
They said that last year too.
You know
Remember?
what?
That was the big word on the street.
they need to. They need to realize that he's been in the league long enough. He has done very well for them. He's got, 6 or 7 Pro Bowls, something like that. It's time to let him get a ring because we know it's not going to Arizona.
No, let him go.
Let him hitch to New Orleans right now. That would just put him over the top. I mean, their defense is already performing way better than they should be on paper. So why not? I like it. And Eli Apple, now that we don't really know exactly how hurt he is, I think it's a good spot.
Sure.
We mentioned a couple weeks ago. Do we know, can AJ Green, can he be traded?
We don't know.
I don't even know because I still think he's technically considered injured. He's returned, I think, in a limited basis to the practice field, but I don't think he's near return. To be honest with you, so
as long as he's injured, he can't be traded.
I'm not even 100% sure about that. To be honest with you, so I know that was something that we kind of speculated over.
It's pure genius. He's out. I just saw an article. It says that he's out until after the NFL trade deadline.
Nice.
So
Oh, isn't
that
that
tells me
exciting?
that he knew he was gone and he was ready to play. So he's like, nope.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That is great.
Here.
I heard about Taylor Gabriel too. There was talks
Yep.
that they might
Yep.
that Chicago might trade him. So that'd be it. There's a lot of receivers. going.
It's kind of funny that Chicago's going to trade a receiver because they don't have any, but they need to get one back. I would think, right?
Well, they figure they don't have a quarterback to throw to him.
That's also true.
Sorry, chicken.
Tariq Cohen cannot throw the ball that well, so it's not happening. But
You know what's great? I just got to say, if you go on the D line, all you hear is like Chicago love. You come on this show and we're like,
we hate them.
Chicago.
We hate everything about Chicago. Apparently, actually, I love the city. I'm just joking around. But the other one, this one's more baffling. I know this is like out there, and everybody and their mothers talked about this. Stephon Diggs trade. The rumors are all over the place on this one. It makes no sense. They're a 5-2 team that's starting to really find their stride.
Yeah.
And once the rumors came about, Stephon Diggs went off in that game 2 weeks ago.
A talented guy.
He's a very talented guy, but he signed a 5-year deal. He's only in the second year of it.
I get that.
So how the hell are you going to afford to trade for a guy like that? I mean, you're talking at least 2 first-round picks, if not way more. So that one's a weird one, and I know they're just trying to get some steam under it.
Yeah.
That would be a king's ransom and then some. Maybe 2 king's ransoms, whatever that may be, if you're going to try to get a guy like Diggs. And I don't even think Minnesota would pull the trigger on something like that. So that's a weird trade deadline type of thing. Even the A.J. Green thing was kind of weird. The guy's played it down all season. Do you really want to take a risk?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's going to be some crazy talk on Tuesday because I think wasn't it last year the last day was when Amari
broke
Cooper
loose,
got
yeah.
traded.
All hell
so
broke loose.
there's going to be Tuesday. We're going to have a lot to talk about with these trades.
Yeah, we will. I
Gonna
thought
see it.
Jamie said, "Oh heck, breaks loose."
Yes. I did not. I did not. I will not censor myself that far.
When we start saying "heck," we really have become the PG show.
We're G-rated at that point. If that's the case.
Hey, speaking of the D line, before I have to ask us, how did we do last week
Oh,
with our?
hold on a second. Let me pull my sheet out.
Moss has the sheet.
Let me pull it out.
She's ready to go. So
Yeah.
I know a few weeks ago we got a little closer than we wanted it
Yeah,
to
we
be.
did. We did jump behind by a point at one time, but then we got right back in there. I would just like to mention that we were absolutely perfect this week.
I love it.
Yes.
We went with New England, Kansas City, and Dallas. So now the score: 3 and out, 29. The D line, 26.
I love it.
Here
All
we
right,
go.
up.
Here we go.
Little sister, my ass.
Who's talking about a little sister?
The world was in harmony once again.
And we're gonna put our picks in, and I've already heard them, and Yeah, we're gonna crush them this week.
Yeah.
So
We'll
Don't
be
mess
fine.
with us.
good stuff.
Yeah,
What are you
we
guys
got
watching
it.
this week?
We got it. So this slate of games is rugged.
Yeah.
It's pretty ugly. I guess the only one that I personally would say was like worth a salt. The Panther and Niner game looks to have some value to it. I mean, well, we actually finally get to see if Ray could either be proven correct or incorrect on that one. So
Yeah, that's gonna be a great.
that's
game.
going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah, I'm honestly not looking forward to any of these games. I'm looking at the schedule and
They're rough, man.
wow,
It's pretty rough.
I mean, it's close to a entertainment nightmare. I gotta be honest. This is some rough football. I mean, I mean the viewership, the ratings are going down this week. I'm telling you, like seriously.
What do you mean? You don't think that Thursday night and Monday night game is
I
good
mean-
enough for you?
Yeah, the Steelers.
I mean, you know what?
Steelers,
I didn't want to do this to you guys, but if you want, I will say that Monday Night Football game with the Dolphins and Steelers.
Might actually be entertaining. Yeah.
Oh,
That might
but for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to be entertaining, but not. No. I'm looking forward to the Browns Patriots only because the Browns are going to lose, but they're going to show some grit.
Yeah.
You say that with a laugh. They're gonna show some grit.
I mean,
I will.
He's trying so hard over
He's
there.
trying to find.
I'm looking at these games.
It's bad.
If Mahomes was playing, I'd
Yeah,
say
that
the
would be a
Packers
good-
Chiefs.
that was the one I was
I was
gonna say.
going to be excited, but now that he's not playing, I'm not looking forward to Matt Moore. I mean, I
Why
was
not?
shocked when I saw that he was still in. I didn't even know he was still in the league.
No,
He was,
I was-
coaching high
wow.
school football, wasn't he?
Yeah.
at one
Yes.
point?
Yeah.
I was gonna say he didn't know he was
You
still
didn't
there.
know he was in the league either.
Like so, you know what? I take it all back. I'm looking forward to the Jets Jaguars
Very.
because somebody has to win.
Yeah.
So
I'm very curious
Boom.
about that one. Yeah.
the Jaguars are going to win at home
All right.
by 5.
Is that who I should pick for my Survivor pick?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, well, very confident.
wow.
Yep.
Moss, what are you watching?
I-
This has been the toughest question. I
Seriously,
answered.
look
I'm
at the schedule.
I am so
What's the
happy.
Sunday night game?
So happy.
Oh, the Green Bay.
I vultured the only
I'll
good
do
game.
the Green Bay Kansas
there
City
you go.
game. I guess.
Yeah, that would have been entertaining.
Yeah.
If Mahomes was.
Seriously, I'm so happy I vultured that game.
It's a
I-
good weekend.
The Raiders and
Catch
the
up on some
Texans?
sleep.
How
Exactly.
about the Raiders and the Texans? I'll go with that one.
There you go.
Raiders and Texans. Okay.
All right.
You sound very
Barn burner.
Yeah.
good stuff. All right. Well, you know what we can look forward to though is our
Halloween
Yes,
show.
Halloween show. There you go.
and our monster picks and all kinds of crazy stuff. So,
I'm gonna dress up. You guys don't dress up. I'll dress up.
well, dear God, help us all.
Wait, so you guys aren't excited about the Bengals Rams game?
Oh, come on. That's going to be awesome.
Like seriously? What about
There's some really awful games, man.
the Bucks Titans?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Giants Lions?
Barn burners. It's like a sleeping pill.
Hey, but get out and watch some NFL this weekend. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Get out there.
On that note, we're going to let it all go. So
Yeah.
Yes,
let's get
yeah.
out of here. So for Jamie, for Ray, and for Moss, I'm Rich Masucci, and we will check you back next time where Moss will be all dressed up for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Later.
We out.
Later.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome, or visit us online at nyvwofrome.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at disruptionnetwork.net.